Alright, I want to welcome you back to day 2 of Elapsed Time. I think I'll use a different color pen. Let's go with green. This elephant likes green, so we'll go with the green pen. And that's what we'll use. Okay, so today with our elapsed time, we're going to be given either a start time or an end time and how much time has passed, and you have to find the other one. So if I'm told that we have a start time of 3:35 and it lasted for 40 minutes, I need to find our end time. Okay? So we're going to look at that today. And it works pretty much the same way. You draw your number line. You're going to draw your start time of 3 o'clock. 3:35. I can't talk. And then we start adding minutes. Okay? Well, I can start off and I can look at this because this is 35. I still want to get to the top of the hour. If I add 25 minutes, is that less than the 40? Well, yes, it is. So 25 minutes. That's going to make my time 4 o'clock. So then all I have to do is I have to figure out, well, how many minutes are left after 40 minutes. So I can even subtract 40 minus 25. And I borrow, that leaves 3. It makes 10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1. So I have just 15 minutes left I need to fill. So then I would add 15 minutes, and that would make the time 4:15. And 25 plus 15 is 40 minutes. So my end time then would be 4:15. So this is kind of a little bit easier in some cases where I can work with it. Okay, let's try another one. We're going to go again start with the start time. Okay, and we started at 2:20. It lasted for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Okay, so I need to know my end time. Okay, so I look at that and I do my start and my end, and I say 2 hours and 20 minutes. Again, now this one I can be a little bit different because I have hours here. I could start and just add my first hour, and that would make my time 3:20. And then I could add another hour, and that would make my time 4:20. And then all I have to do is add my 15 minutes. And I think about this and I go, well, that's kind of hard. Maybe I can add it in 5-minute increments. Because I know that there are 3 5 minutes in 15. So I can do my 3. So 4:20 plus 5 would be 4:25. Plus another 5 would be 4:30. Plus another 5 would be 4:35. So there, my end time would be 4:35. So that one was a little bit different, but it was still the same. I was still breaking it down and adding in as I went. Okay? So now, let's try one. What if I don't know the start time, but I know it lasted for 3 hours and 5 minutes, and my end time I know was 7:20. Okay, so again, I still draw my number line. I don't have a start time, so I can even put a little question mark there, but I do have an end time as 7:20. Okay, so I'm going to go backwards. That means instead of adding, I have to subtract. And I've got 3 hours here. So I can do, here's 1 hour, Here's 2 hours, or another hour, and here's another hour. There's my 3 hours, right? So 7:20 minus 1 hour is going to give my time at 6:20. And then if I subtract another hour, that would make it 5:20. And then I can subtract even one more hour, and that makes the time 4:20. So there I have my 3 hours. Now I'm going to subtract my 5 minutes. So I put 5 minutes. So I subtract that 5 minutes from 4:20. My time is not going to be 4:25 because that's adding. But I say 20 minus 5 makes my start time of 4:15. So when I'm looking at this, my start time was 4:15 because I subtracted. And I could even add and go, I can add 4:15 plus 5, that it does equal 4:20, plus an hour is 5:20, plus another hour is 6:20, plus another hour is 7:20. And so there I have my start and my end time. Okay? Now, what I want you to do for your homework, is I want you to look at an activity and get a start time that you have, what time you started, and then keep track of how long you did it. Okay? Actually, can that activity, because I think that's going to be kind of hard, because you'll end up already knowing the end time. So I'm going to give you a start time of 3:20, and you're going to pretend that you did an activity for 2 hours and 40 minutes. So what time was your end time? Okay, so that's your homework tonight, is that 3:20 and then add 2 hours and 40 minutes to it, and what time did you end? And you can even look and see too, think about an activity. Maybe you're going to soccer practice tonight, and if you get there at 7 and you're going to be there for an hour and a half, what time will you be finished? Give yourself some activities, and you can come back and share those with us. Okay? All right, see you tomorrow. Okay, I want to try a last bit of elapsed time with you. And I want to talk to you about dealing with our time. Time is, we look at 15-minute increments. This would be the 15, this would be the 30, and this would be the 45. Well, sometimes they also talk about time with fractions, which we haven't gotten to yet, but these are all fractions, 15 minutes is a quarter hour, or a fourth of an hour. And I'll write quarter on there. And 30 minutes is also known as half an hour. I did that for half an hour. And then 45 is known as 3/4 of an hour, or 3/4. And I'll just write 3/4. So that when you look at those, you think about, if you hear a fourth of an hour, or a half an hour, or a quarter of an hour, or 3/4 of an hour, you know what to add. Okay? So let's do a couple of problems that include those kinds. Let's have a start time of 3:30, and it took 2 hours, 2 1/4 hours. Look like that. Oh, here, I always forget I have an eraser. Let's see, let me write that again. 2 1/4 hours. And that would basically work the same way we've been doing it. You draw your number line. Your start time is 3:30. And so we can start by adding our 2 hours. If I add 1 hour, that makes the time 4:30 with 1 hour. Add another hour, that makes the time 5:30. And now I look at that 4th hour, and I remember that 1/4 equals 15 minutes. So that means I'm going to add 15 minutes, and that's going to make my end time 5:30 plus 15 minutes is 5:45. Okay, you see that? So I just added 15 minutes. Alright, let's try another one. Let's have an end time of 7:20, and it took 1.5 hours to take place. Okay, so again, same thing. I draw my number line. I know my end time is 7:20. I'm going to start off by subtracting 1 hour. That makes the time 6:20. And now I'm going to have to do a half hour. Well, again, I remembered a half hour equals 30 minutes. Okay? So I look at this and I've got 6:20. Well, if I think about that 20, because I'm subtracting, I'm going to subtract that 20 minutes. And that would make my time 6 o'clock. And then 20 minutes plus 10 minutes would equal 30 minutes. So I'm going to now subtract 10 minutes. I have to take away because I'm subtracting. So this is going to become 5. And I'm going to subtract 10 minutes, and it's going to be 5:50. Well, the rest of it. 5:50, because when I subtract 10 minutes from that 6 o'clock, it brings it back an hour. So my start time would be 5:50. Okay, let's try one more. We're going to do one, and we're going to say the start time was 1:05. Okay, it took 2 3/4 hours. We don't see a whole lot of these, but I still want you to know how to do them. What would be the end time? Same thing. Number line. 1:05 is the start. And so I start with my hours. I'm going to add 1 hour. That makes it 2:05. So I'll add 1 more hour for my second hour. That makes it 3:05. Whoops. Okay, now I'm looking at 3/4 of an hour. And I remember that 3/4 of an hour was 45 minutes. Okay, and so it's kind of hard to add 45 minutes. So let me look at my minutes again and get them either to the half hour or the hour. Well, if I add 25 minutes, that's going to make my time 3:30, right? So now I can subtract that 25 minutes from 45. That's 0. And 4 minus 2 is 2. So that I just need 20 more minutes. So now all I have to do is add 20 minutes. And 3:30 plus 20 minutes makes 3:50. And it's easy to work. So my end time then, it's kind of messy on my paper here, but my end time is 3:50. Okay? So remember, let's raise it up a little. Here, let me erase. What was 1/4 of an hour? That equaled 15 minutes. 1/2 of an hour equaled 30 minutes. And 3/4 of an hour equaled 45 minutes. Okay? You also might hear it called a quarter after. Or it took a quarter of an hour. That equals 15 minutes. Even though it sounds like quarter, like money, it's not the same. It's the fourth, which is like fourth of a dollar. But it's 15 minutes. And 3/4 quarters of an hour equals 45 minutes. And half an hour is still half an hour, no matter how you look at it. Okay? So, we're going to try some, and you've got kind of homework. This is just kind of a bonus lesson for you. Okay?